I killed eel and it's being cooked. Here's lessons learned. It's not nice to kill anything. What I found is that you don't want to hear this story maybe, but it's just a little bit. As I cut it out, they're so energetic. That's why in Japan they like eel. The eel in New Zealand is much, much bigger than in those in Japan and very strong, sometimes big fat. And this one is not too big, but big enough. So I have to kill. And what's interesting or amazing is that it's so full of energy. That's why Japanese people like it to eat, in the summertime especially, and me too. But they move. Even if you chop them up. And this one, I noticed that the gut is out and the heart is not so big, but it's pumping even after the heart is outside of the body. I remember a story of the heart muscles, how they synchronize. I think human heart is the same. If you have a small piece of the cells of the heart muscle, they may be still moving. And when you have another one, it's moving in a different frequency. But once they are put together, they synchronize so that it starts to get this pumping motion. I don't know if that's all the heart muscles, but it sounds very believable. And what I thought is that my construct of who I am, heart and muscles and all the stuff, I have to put this fire down. What it does, what was the point? The heart synchronizes when they're left alone, but together. And the thought is that, let's say if I'm chopped up, and of course I feel pain, but the different parts of the body would die differently, and the heart may remain to be pumping, even chopped off from the head. Not an interesting story, but I can believe that. So what the point is that all the cells are alive. I mentioned that utilizing the full potential of who I am, not just using the brain, but the heart and the body. So each cell is alive. And depending on each other, they are alive. So that the nutrition, whatever the hormone and blood and oxygen get carried down there for each of the cells, probably. So each is alive and connected to each other. And that's the way I see it. Decentralized way of living, being, is just a combination of those. They work together to keep us alive. Isn't it amazing? You think your mind is the center, and you can feel like it because that's what the mind does, that the mind wants to dictate, seek for something and carry out some mission, develop plan and exercise. While it's going on, body is functioning on its own, all the cells. But like I said, everywhere, many places, that if we are occupied and confined in the mind or the brain, body may be left alone, except they need to be together. So that's the connection of brain and body. And the awakening would make it happen, that the blockage between the mind and body open up. That's when I had this awakening, and all the surge of energy and all the amazing response of my whole body is totally engaged in its liveliness. I mentioned that it's like having sex with the universe. The reason why I thought about that expression is that because of the surge of energies inside. So I said it's like a vagina. I know I don't have vagina, of course, but it's coming something inside. So that's the feeling I had, that, making love is in such a manner that energy is just. So what am I saying? Different things: mind and body connection, and each cell alive, interrelationship, interpenetration. They work together, decentralized control, so that each body part may be alive. When you're chopped off, you hear a story of the horrible torture that happens, and I cannot believe what man can do. But once, let's say, it's not a good example, but head is chopped off, the hand and body may still theoretically do their job for a while. And like the eel's case, then eventually ran out. But the heart was still moving, even if it chopped off, and it's just a tiny bit, but the eel itself is 3 foot or more, fairly good size. But the heart is very tiny, and that is functioning for the whole body to be alive. So the thought I had is that that's how the biological relationship of all the cells are happening, and the brain relationship can be understood in such a manner. And when I was thinking about it, how I got this, I don't remember, but the Genza is the myokonin. And there's some relationship to what I was talking about, that he is so compassionate after his, say, awakening with Amida Buddha, that Amida is going to save him, because he felt he's inferior and had troubles and couldn't stand it. So he asked for the help and walked around wherever, and then found Shin Buddhism. And the teaching is that if you believe in Amida Buddha, that will take care of you. And after a while he was carrying a heavy rice crop or something, and the cow was next to him and walking also with heavy load. And the Genza was so tired, so he put that load onto the cow or the ox, whatever. And at that moment, he was awakened, because that's Amida helping him. So since then, he realized all the living beings are equal, alive, because it's a natural way of things to happen. And Shinran talks about shizen on its own, by itself. If you translate, that means nature is connecting to this expression of Amida Buddha for all living beings. So since that experience of his awakening, when he was carrying the heavy load, but taken care by, Den, I think was the name of the cow or the ox. And since then, he was so fond of all the living beings and taken care of it. That's compassion. So it's as if Amida's compassion is to help him being the source of the, like Amida taking over, because that's what Namu Amida Butsu means. And therefore, all the activity or things he does is no ego and not much thinking, just helping and helping and helping. That's why I said in one of the videos, or maybe few of the videos, when someone's stealing the fruit, maybe peach or persimmon or something, one of the myokonim put the ladder so that he doesn't fall off. So beyond who owns what and who to complain, it's almost beyond conventional belief that they are like taken over by the Amida's compassion and then representing as if they are Amida. So maybe Genza will never kill eel, which I did. And I'm not there at the Genza's level, the Myokonin. But that's one of the four wisdom in Buddhism. One is the equality. Everything is equal. No one is above or below. That's one of the wisdom, and this is what we're talking about. Relating to the cow, so that the Genza would take care of someone's cow who is very wild, but when he brings, these guys bring that cow, wild cow or ox, just being with the ox, with Genza, and the Genza talk to them, take care of them. In a week or two, they get so close and communicating, and the wild ox start to behave well. That's miracle. So it's a miracle of compassion. One of the wisdom or the compassion of Buddhism is equality. And that's just an example. And they all don't want to kill anything. So I'm not totally, I tried to, but that's what I did. It's a confession. And I don't know. It's just the reality of what happened. And I wanted to eat eel, and that's the story. But anyway, finishing this four wisdom, equality and amazement is another wisdom to realize how wondrous this miraculous existence we are and everything is. And the third one is the mirror mind. And what that I was thinking was interesting, that when I talk these YouTube videos, it's like me talking to myself. It's the mirror. So I need to be very sincere and honest in what I do. And without knowing, because I just realized it, that this is a good practice for me, so that I can be a little bit more coherent in my thinking and to summarize the thought and be able to express. And I'm talking to myself, make sure that what you're saying is sincere and truthful, and fix what need to be fixed. So I just picked up a few points that I may have to work on further. So that's the story of eel. And the story expanded from the heartbeat and our construct and Genza's story, equality, all being. And therefore, when I say all beings may all beings be happy, that's representing one of the wisdom. Before I forget, the fourth wisdom is Jōshōshachi in Japanese. That means whatever I say it, in easy English, whatever you dream of, that can happen. Meaning your dedication and determination to do certain things can come out. It's like if you have a will, you'll find a way. And the other one I like is the heaven helps those who help themselves. So that's the fourth one. So I capture the things that I've already told, but I'm just reflecting and confirming what I'm missing, who I am, what I do. And I think more about eel when I eat it. I don't want to waste anything. That's just my justification of this. And for my nutrition. So just like what I said the other day or today, I have like 3 people at age 50 or so passed away, but they are alive in me. So eel is alive in me too. In this case, I was part of the equation. But I'll make the most of it, hopefully. So it's a confession and a promise and a dedication for, I hate to say this because after all the things, may all beings be happy. Yes, yes. Eel's life is transferred to my life, which shares the idea for all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. That's a little bit mind processed logic, but maybe eventually I may come up with a better logic or truthfulness. But like this, out of the Garden of Eden, that's the original sin. So maybe that's what we carry. And therefore, may all beings be happy is to go to the Garden of Eden, which basically corresponds